Welcome to the Diary of Dating Over 50 with Tanya R. Lewis, the hottest dating show on social media, hosted by the sassiest model of them all, Tanya R. Lewis. Are you 50 and single, dating or waiting to mingle? Be a guest on the Diary of Dating Over 50 with your host, Tanya R. Lewis.
Welcome to another episode of the Diary of Dating Over 50, our newest podcast, The Diary of Life. When life is lifing with Tanya R. Lewis, your host. So today we are going to speak on a very, very sensitive issue. We're going to bring some awareness. September is Suicide Awareness Month. I have two people here that is going to tell their story, and we're going to learn a lot. If you resonate with anything they say, reach out to someone and get some help. But you know how I do it. I allow my guests to introduce themselves. We're going to start with the ladies first.
Hello, I'm L.A. Anderson, model, director, writer, poet. I originally moved down here from Kansas City, Missouri, to pursue fashion design, but then that later turned into makeup artistry, and that's actually how I got into the industry.
Okay. Now we're going to let our gentleman, Mr. Mello, introduce himself.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Mello. I am originally from Buffalo, New York, raised in Inglewood, California. Been in Atlanta since 1990. Doing my thing, man. I'm a poet, model, actor, audio engineer, and a recent Full Sail University graduate.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to dive right into this, guys, because there's no need to wait. We're going to talk about some issues about suicide. Okay. So here we go. Here's my first question, guys. We're going to start with as a childhood. So, LA, can you describe your childhood and any significant experience that shaped your views of today?
So I would say, my childhood actually started off very rocky. Actually grew up in the projects with a abusive father that was on drugs, in and out of prison. It was 5 of us, so I saw a lot of anger, a lot of rejection, all of those things of not, the mistreatment of a man to a woman, all of those things. So so our story was kind of like, I compared to the movie Enough. If you ever,
yes,
so absolutely. We actually were on the run from my father to get away from him. So the story that my mom tells is, he beat her for the last time. Only thing I can remember, because I was young, was she came in the room and the left side of her face, like her eye was like swollen because he had beat her that bad. And I have 4 sisters, so we all shared the same room. And she just came in there and told us to get dressed, told us to be quiet, because after he beat her, he went somewhere probably to get high or something like that. And she just told us to get dressed and to be quiet. We got dressed and she came back in, and she took us to the public transportation, the bus that was on a layover. And they ended up calling the police, and we stayed in the shelter for a while. We stayed in the Salvation Army. We stayed in a battered women's shelter called Hope House. They helped my mom get on her feet, help her get a job. We went through a whole bunch of transitional housing and all of those things, until she finally broke out of the system, because she said they were in her business.
Okay.
she didn't like, them checking up on her, like.
I
don't know if you ever saw the movie Claudine.
Yes.
Which she said
yes.
they used to do her just like that. So she was just like, she got tired of being in the system, so she used to work 2 and 3 jobs, just for us to, make it and stuff like that. We ended up moving to a different town. Father got out of jail. I have an aunt that deals with mental illness. She saw him in passing on the street somewhere, and by her just talking, because she talked just, just randomly, and she told him where my brother went to school at. Yeah. So he went to my brother first because he was the oldest. And for some reason, for me, I will never understand it. Boys just want their father, whether he's abusive or not. He thought it was cool.
Okay.
He thought it was cool that, he found him and he was all happy and stuff like that. And my mom was like, no, like, yeah, you know what I mean? But he wanted his father. And from that, he started like acting up in school and stuff like that. And eventually my mom was like, well, just go. Just go with him and everything like that. But that's pretty much.
Did your mom get back with him?
Oh no, she was done.
Okay.
They was married for a long time. She met him when she was like 14, 15 or something like that. And then she finally got away when she was like in her mid-30s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, hold that right there. You set the stage for us. We're gonna build off of that.
Okay.
All right, Mello, tell us about your childhood. I'm sure growing in Buffalo, New York.
So I was, like I said, I'm gonna skip to 1979, blizzard in 1979. My parents had enough, so they packed us up and moved to California. But slightly before that, my mom was had just gotten a divorce. My sister is 4 years older than me. And so it was just us three living at her mom's house. And she was a nursing student. Well, I'm sorry, she had already graduated then. But she was a nurse, and she had a best friend that was also a nurse. And, they worked together for a little while or whatever. And it came time, every adult needs to get out of their parents' house. Mm-hmm. So, my mom was like, we need somewhere to stay. And her friend was married at the time and was like, can we come stay with y'all for a little while? And I guess one thing led to another, and we never left. So
y'all never left.
Yeah. So growing up, I've had two people that I call mom.
You have two moms.
Yeah, two moms.
And then the dad, her husband, stayed there.
Yes. And
was they all three in a relationship, or just
no? With him, yes, but not together. So yeah, so his wife worked morning to night, and my mom worked night to morning. So basically, until they retired a couple of years ago, they worked opposite shifts, and he had the best of both worlds.
Wow. Wow. Did that confuse you?
Absolutely not. It actually taught me how to love properly.
Okay.
When you have a hard, concrete example of what love is, good, bad, and indifferent, you kind of catch on to it. So fast forward to the crack epidemic, 1985.
Okay, let's stop there because we're gonna keep you into the childhood era for a minute.
Okay.
Both of you guys set the stage for your childhood. Mm-hmm. And how it played a part into going into the mental health, because just wasn't normal for two mothers and a father, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I grew up like LA, the drugs, father crazy, Bessie Bug, in and out of prison. Mm-hmm. So when did you all? And then you can tell the story of the crack epidemic, because I'm sure that's when the mental health kicked in, when it started to affect you. Mm-hmm. LA, can you tell me when that started to affect you? Because you were in a situation where you watched your mom get beat. You wanted to love your father, but he was so aggressive and so mean. How did that mess with your mental?
So when we left him, I was very young. I was like 4. But for some reason I can remember certain things or whatever. So that's where I felt like the trauma was. But I honestly I didn't know that things were happening. Out of all of my siblings, I was the quiet one. And now that I'm in, therapy, all that type of stuff, we broke that open to where like there's a term, it's called the forgotten child, the lost child. And I was like, okay, tell me more about that. And she was like, well, that's normally the child that wants to stay out of the way. You seen, so yeah. So that's what I became. That's where I went into myself. That's how I started doing the poetry and writing to myself. And I would go off on the other side of the house. My mom would be like, nobody will ever know you here because you always quiet. And I'm like, my siblings, they were always doing something in trouble, or I didn't want to cause her any more issues or anything like that. I just wanted to stay out the way.
So you went into isolation by yourself.
And when things happen, I self-soothe.
Self-soothe?
Yeah.
Can you explain that, please?
You deal with it on your own. You learn how to like just take everything in. You don't want to bother your mother. You don't want to worry her because she got all this other stuff or whatever. So you just keep taking everything.
Keep everything in. And then one day there was an explosion. Okay.
You become.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
Mello.
So, in 1985, crack hit the scene. I was only 10 years old. Going to school. I think it was that year. I think it was that year I had a schoolmate named Daru from Neighborhood Pyro. I'll never forget him. But Daru brought me into the bathroom one day, and he said, "Hey, let me show you something." And he got this stuff, put it on their finger, and said, "Put this in your mouth."
At 10.
At 10. I did it. My mouth went numb. Never told my parents.
You felt
But
like
I
you
made
had
a statement.
arrived.
I made a statement at that point. I said I never touched any of this in my life ever. The only thing that I would do, because I was doing that at 10, was smoking weed. I said I never touched it in my life. Thank God, I've held true to that.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, fast forward to me getting out of. I was in what do you call it? It's called Project Hope Alternative School. I was in alternative school, and I forgot what I got suspended for. I did something, led the counselor on a wild goose chase, did something. So anyway, I get back to school, and now the neighborhood that I live in is a predominantly blood neighborhood. I had a buddy named Dwight. Well, he wasn't really a buddy then, but his name was Dwight, and we would fight every day. We and even in class, it was nothing but a fight because they give you the multiplication tables, and we trying to figure out who can do it the fastest or whatever, who's the smartest. Well, anyway, he told a couple of his buddies that I was gangbanging, and so they came to me. They was like, you're gonna need to join something, regardless. You're gonna need to join something, whether it be Bloods or Crips. Well, I felt, even at a young age, I never did good with ultimatums. So I chose the worst thing for me, which was being a Crip. And like I said, I was in the middle of Blood neighborhood.
And
so,
you chose to be a Crip.
Yeah, yeah. And so now, why that is significant is because I had loving parents.
Mm-hmm.
I had
you had 2 mothers and a father.
Right. I had I didn't get everything I wanted, but I had what I needed to be sufficient. I didn't have to go out and sell drugs. I didn't have to do none of that. But one thing I did like is I like to fight. That I don't know. I just like to fight. So I made my choice. I made my choice, and until we left in 1990, that's all I did was fight, get shot at, fight, get shot at, and it made me numb to it. It's like it made me numb to death, first of all, because going back, my father was actually a mortician.
Wow.
And so I see
so you playing with death, and then
right.
Did you ever go down to where he embalmed? Because I remember a friend of mine, her family owned a funeral home, and she took me to see a body. I will never ever forget that. It scared the living daylights out of me. Yeah.
It's a thing you don't want to see, and going to school, because we lived 5 minutes walking distance from the school. Even going to school, it's nothing to see a body laid out by the fence,
Okay. Oh, that then. All right. LA, can you share with me a specific moment when you felt overwhelmed by mental illness and it kicked in? It was just plain as day. Because as a child, you held a lot in. You were like a tire, inner tube waiting to explode. Where was that pivotal point for you where you just said, okay?
I'm gonna be honest, it didn't kick in until I got older.
Till you got older?
Yeah.
So take me from that quiet place that you put yourself to stay out of everybody's way and accepting everybody's issue, internalizing them because you want to stay out of the way. Take me from that to, high school and a young adulthood. Because you only...
Yeah.
Okay.
So high school. I'm somebody that believes in generational curses. And when I look at it now, I feel like my father carried the generational curses as far as like who we choose to want to be around. All of my sisters, our first boyfriends were abusive.
Wow.
Nobody knew mine was because I was quiet.
And
until
you was getting beat. And
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. He was verbally abusive. I would take a lot of stuff and I would just internalize it.
Yes.
And in my head, I'm like, he's only doing this because he think, I won't do anything back. And then finally, I will say I snapped. I was at high school. We was at his first apartment, and he was cheating on me. It was a girl that showed up. It was a girl that used to be my friend.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
That showed up, and he cracked the door and told her that I was there, and went in the kitchen and made him some dinner after it happened. And I was just sitting there, and I was like, so you just not gonna acknowledge what just happened? And he's like, what are you talking about? So we started arguing and everything like that. And so he was a wannabe gangster. He wanted to be hard and stuff like that. Those guys that always buying guns and you ain't gonna shoot it. you ain't gonna shoot it. You just want to look like you tough and stuff like that or whatever. So we started arguing, and in my head, I saw my parents. Wow. I saw my mother. I saw my father or whatever, because he was like, and I'm small, so you think you got one up on me, you think I'm not gonna do anything, and I'm like, he kept like pushing me or whatever, and I was like, why are you pushing me? Why you got your hand? I can say whatever, whatever I want to say, just don't touch me. Right. And I'm like, why are you touching me? And he's like, go, like, all this stuff or whatever. And I went in the kitchen and I got a knife, and he said, you use that on me or whatever, I'll shoot you. Like, he was like trying to talk hard, but I already seen you get punked in front of a lot of people. So I'm like, and I said, you gonna shoot me? And so he had like a 12 gauge, something like that, under the couch or whatever. And I said, there you go. I said, I bet you I pull it before you do. And I was not playing or whatever. And he looked at me, I wasn't playing. I wasn't playing or whatever. And so he was like, you ain't even worth my time. You ain't even worth my time. And I was like, okay. There, like, you see that I'm not playing, but he tried me again. We were at his family's house, and he was washing his clothes at his family's house. Everybody in his family saw him disrespect me. Like, I was quiet around them, and they were trying to play, like, I think it was Jenga they were trying to play. And they wanted to include me, and I didn't really care for his family. I really didn't, or whatever, because they thought it was funny that he would, like, call me out of my, my name was not my name. He would call me the B word all the time. Like, And so they was like, you don't want to play? I was like, mm-mm. And he comes in the living room. They tell him, she don't want to play. And he looked at me. He was like, well, why the F not? And so, and I'm like, I'll play, just to try to keep, And I was like, I'll play. He's walking around, though, talking to somebody that he's messing with in front of me. And they're laughing. Everybody, everybody's laughing or whatever. And so he tells me to get up. We going to Dairy Queen. I want some ice cream. So we get in the car, and he's still talking to the girl. And I said, the least you could do is be respectful and not talk to her in front of my face. He ignored me the whole time. The whole time or whatever, he's still talking to her. And I knew something was happening. Like, cause something was happening, because I was getting hot. Like, my hands was tingling, and I'm just like, it probably was all the anger, the disrespect, all of it from all the years, like, building up. And so he comes back with a little caramel sundae in his head, and he driving and stuff like that over there, still talking to the girl. And I said, so you not go hang up? You still gonna talk to her? He's ignoring me, and he called me the B word. He was like, man, da, 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 and all that type of stuff. I kid you not. It had to be a demon, something like that said hit him. Wow. Hit him. And so he had a truck, he had an F-150, and the little console in between us or whatever. I jumped over that and just started punching him in his face. I took the ice cream, smashed it in his face. So you just lost it because it was just like, the disrespect was not going to stop. You kept trying me. Okay, so you want it? Here you go. Here you go. And I just started banging his head on the window. And I'm laughing now, but it was not funny, because we were on like those one-way highways where it was pitch dark at night, and he let go of the wheel trying to fight me back or whatever, but I could fight. You didn't have time to bob and weave or whatever. I was just knocking his head against the window, and I'm just like, but I was crying at the same time, because I'm not an angry person. And I was shaking at the same time and all of that stuff. And he didn't know what to do. So he tried to drive me back to my parents' house. And he was like, get out the car. We get in front of my parents' house, and he opens the door, but he's scared. He got ice cream dripping and everything. And he's scared. And he's like, get out the car. And I'm just sitting there. And I said, I bet you won't touch me. I bet you, like, I just kept saying it because I wanted to knock you.
At that point, you just lost it.
Yeah.
Okay, so take me to the point where life was just so overwhelming for you, and you just wanted to just end everything.
It wasn't until actually I moved down here.
When you moved to Georgia?
Yeah.
Oh, right there. Mello, take me to the point where life got overwhelming for you. Because we're not going to spend the show talking about the negative part of it, but we're going to let my viewers know how suicide was an option. But then we're going to go into this beautiful life that you guys have now, because I admire and so proud of both of you. Okay, so Mello, take us to that point.
All right, so I left my wife in 2017. Um, Tried to rekindle it in 2020. Wasn't happening. Um, and then I wound up getting with a friend that I knew from 20 years before.
Okay.
And my acting career started going the way I wanted it to go. Um, I just got accepted Full Sail. Um, I was doing it. I was proud of myself.
Things were happening.
Right. Um, and then the person that I let back in my life after 20 years, I found out how narcissistic she was. And there's been several examples, but I'm gonna give you this one. I come back from filming a movie at Georgia State Field, and we were there from 2 p.m. to like 6 a.m. the next morning. And of course, you know, a woman that is not within the industry, you know, is going to look at that and say,
Won't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, period, man or woman.
Yeah.
The industry, you can go and go and go.
Right.
And you go 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock the next day.
Right.
So you have to understand the industry.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, you know, so we came home and she had got off of work late or whatever, and because she worked overnight too, and so when she got off work, she was drinking and doing all this, that and the third, and anyway, we got into a bit of a screaming match. She called. I'm sorry. I go in the room, and she's sitting on the bed with 2 open bottles of vodka, and I never seen this person before, ever in my life. But I lost it. I went over there to where those bottles were, and I got ready to pick them up and throw them across the room. When I did that, she grabbed one of them and struck me across the head. So now I'm on my back on the ground, and I pretty much blanked out after that. I remember going outside and calling the police, and because I still hadn't hit her. The only thing that I did, I grabbed her like this, from it hit me with another one or whatever. And so I go outside, call the police. Police come, and you know, they asked me what the situation was. So I didn't know that she was on the phone, also with the police. Mm-hmm. Police, she told the police I attacked her and this, that, and the third. And so, long story short, the police came to us and said, look, either one of y'all gonna have to leave, or both of y'all going to jail. Okay. All right. So I said, all right, I'll leave. Well, during that time of leaving, I was like, I had just saved in the previous 4 months, I had just saved 10 people from overdose of fentanyl. Everybody in Norcross that knew, I didn't mean to say that, but everybody in the city that knew me, you know, they kind of looked up to me or whatever, and I was their support system. I just had a lot of things going on top of working and doing my schoolwork. And at that point, when I'm by myself, I'm thinking, why am I doing all of this? Who am I trying to prove? What am I trying to prove? Who am I trying to impress? Maybe it's better off that I don't do it at all. And if I can't do it at all, then might as not be here.
That's when you considered taking your life.
Yes.
Can you tell me how you felt at that point? How were you depressed?
So
how far did you go with the idea?
okay, so remember early on in this conversation where I said that I would never do anything other than weed? I still haven't, but that was my first thought.
Was to go
ahead. Was to go get some coke, some something, even fentanyl. That was my first thought. So to say that I was depressed was an understatement. But I was more angry at myself for allowing this to happen, for allowing the thought to come into my mind. Yeah, I'm gonna do that there.
Ella, tell me where that point was for you. You said it was here in Georgia.
Mm-hmm. So I was dating someone that I never wanted to date. I'm gonna put it that way. So this person, now that I know, this person was dealing with a lot of demons. And the thing about that is when you are anointed, people see that. And people want to take that light from you. So they want to attach themselves to you. After I got rid of this person, that's when I started feeling like depressed, not because of him, but just because of life. Like I had moved down here and things just wasn't working. It was all kind of stuff that was happening. I would get a job and either they wasn't paying enough or they would overwork you. Like it was just, and so the thing about it is like people would always say like, if God told you to move down here, why are you struggling? If God told you this or whatever, like, and because they didn't get it. And the thing about it is or whatever, it's like now that I know, you have to go through that process when God called you. But after he left, like I said, it wasn't working. Nothing was working. And I was so depressed. I was working at a call center job and I'm somebody that deals with anxiety. And that's the worst place you can work when you have anxiety. And I remember I was at work and everything was getting to me. And the thing about it is, it's so funny how God will send people in the midst of that. All my calls was coming from people in the industry. People were setting up Tyler Perry's, all of that stuff. And even my coworkers was like, why are you getting all these people from the film people, from the films and stuff like that? I would be on the phone talking to actors from The Walking Dead and all of this stuff or whatever. And an older lady that was sitting by me, she said, because that's where you're supposed to be. God's telling you not to give up. And at the time, I wasn't even thinking about the industry. I just wanted to have a career doing something, and long story short, it was just starting to be overwhelming. And I remember telling my boss, I said, I think I need to take some time out. She said, why? What's happening? And what was supposed to be what's the word I'm looking for? Confidential. Yeah. We're in the little boardroom and it's like 6 people in there. She called them all in there. And I'm like, this was between me and you, but I guess you have to inform everybody. And they were like, so what's going on? I was like, I just mentally, I'm drained. I'm having some thoughts that I don't want.
What was the thought of how would you have taken your life?
I was getting up daily, and I was just dreading being alive or whatever. And I remember I was driving to work, and I was in traffic, and I was at a stop sign, and I'm gonna say the enemy because that's who it is. He said, "I think you should just let go of the car.
Wow.
I think you should just let go, of the car, let go of the wheel. I think you should do that." And that's how I knew something was off. And that's when, I told my manager. They said, cool. They said, we'll let you off. And then the higher up, she gave me a book on mental health or whatever. And she said, take all the time you need. It's fine. I get home and it's the police, the paramedics, the chaplain. Everybody is like outside my door. They're looking in my windows, and I'm looking at them.
Wow.
I'm sitting in my car
God took the drive after you,
in the parking lot, and I was like, who did this? Like, who called all these people? And so I get out the car, and the police, he's like, hey, like trying to talk to me, like trying to calm me down. And I'm smiling. I said, y'all looking for me? Like, what's going on? I was like, who called y'all? And they had the chaplain come to me, and he started talking. And he's like, you know that God loves you. And then he started quoting scriptures, and I was finishing them. And he looked in my car, and he seen my Bible on my seat, and he said, oh, so you know God? I said, I do. So everything you telling me, you can't tell me nothing. I know God. And then he said, so, but you know that I said, I know this. I said, let me ask you this though. I said, what do you do when God tell you to move somewhere without your family? I said, but then you're there and you're struggling. I said, what do you do then? What do you do then when you feel like God is silent? What do you do?
14 years ago, before, because I'm part of Narcotics Anonymous. I don't hide that from anybody. I've been clean for 14 years, 15 years in December. But I remember 14 years ago that I stayed in a room with no lights on, no TV on, dark, and I would tell God, don't let my mind go somewhere where it won't come back. And I felt my mind slipping away. I felt there would be hours and hours to go by, and I'd be in this dark room, and it felt like I was only in there for 5 minutes. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want nobody to talk to me. I didn't want to talk to my kids, and I never not want to talk to my kids. It was like it would be sunny outside, but all I seen was clouds. The one thing that I'm grateful for is because I was too coward to take my life. But the way that I was taking those pills, you would have thought, because I took enough every day to die. However, God allowed my tolerance to build up, so I didn't. I also have 2 aunts, mother, father side, and they completed the job. They woke up one day, decided that life had liked too much, and they both got a gun, and they both shot themselves in the head. And both of them, their daughter found them, their daughters. Can you imagine? I couldn't imagine putting my daughter through that. But what in the world can make you say, enough is enough?
Mine was, I kept encountering wicked people. The girls that I would befriend try to set me up to get raped. Like, it was always somebody, like, I can be genuine, but it was something about me that you just had to, like, hurt me. Yeah, you didn't like that I drink. I didn't drink. You didn't like that I didn't smoke. You didn't like that I was not what what you were into and stuff like that. So you would try to hurt me.
What would you also? Because I had a support system. I just didn't want that support system. I wanted to just die.
Let me answer that first. So let it be known that in my belief system, the only unforgivable sin is suicide. side.
Absolutely.
All right. Only because you can't repent for that. Once it's done, it's done. Now, on my way to my death,
What you mean on your way to your death?
I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I had a friend that I've also known. God keeps certain people in my life for reasons. Okay, some of them are there for 5 years, some of them there for 20. Okay, um, but I had this one friend that we actually were in a relationship before, but she was my best friend's girlfriend back in the early 2000s. So anyway, um, I always knew that if I needed some help, I could call somebody, right? So this one day I concocted this plan. I said, I done pretty much had enough. I said, I know where there are police at right this minute. I know, I know that I'm a black man living in Maitland, Georgia, and that's not always a good thing. Okay.
And you know if you can walk up on them.
At this certain gas station for about 2 months, I seen the same cop parked in front of the gas station at the same time every night. I took a not even what do you call it, water gun. I took a water gun and got in my car, and as I was driving there, I called my friend. I said, "Hey, look," I'm only telling you this because I owe it to you. You are the only person in this world that I feel like would care if I'm gone. I said, so I'm telling you, at this particular time, I am going to get up and I'm going to go over to this officer and flash this gun and make him put me down. I said, I'm not going to give him the option because he's not going to see it. I said, now, here's the thing, is I'm at the Quick Trip. You got 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, I'm getting up. In 4.5 minutes, there were 5 cars behind me that I didn't see. And they came and got me. They put me in handcuffs first. made sure that the gun that I did have on me.
So the police, she called the police on you and had them come get you.
She called Quick Trip. She told Quick Trip to call the police, and the rest was history.
Yeah,
but
your life could have been taken easily. You had one last call to make, and you made it to somebody that you knew would help. Okay, tell me the turning point, LA, because now you are a director. Tell me, let's lighten this up. Tell me how you went from total despair. I want all of this over. I don't want no more. I'm the nicest person in the world. I don't hurt nobody. I have ingested everybody's issue. I didn't cause my mother no problem. I wanted to die, and then all of a sudden, life came back.
Well, I remember I ended up getting sick. This is after the attempt. My dentist almost killed me.
Your dentist?
Yeah, unknowingly prescribing me something that he shouldn't have.
You didn't know you was allergic to it.
Well, I wasn't allergic.
Mhm.
It just wasn't supposed to be given to me. It went into my system, cleaned out all my bad bacteria in my gut, and it invaded my intestines. Long story short, my intestines was about to explode, like all of that stuff.
You had a whole lot of boo-boo.
Yeah, no. It was because it wasn't protecting anything. So it was attacking my immune system and my digestive system to where I couldn't eat anything. And the hospital kept telling me it's food poisoning. It lasted for 2 months. They kept sending me home. Yeah, 2 months. And I believe the Holy Spirit was like, don't take that diagnosis. Keep going back. Long story short, that day where I thought I was gonna die in my apartment, God was like, go back to the hospital. So I ended up going back to the hospital, and that's when they told me, like, it's a good thing that you came in when you did, because your intestines was about to explode. And I'm sitting here. I said, so I came here 3 times. And y'all told me it's food poisoning. I said, so I could have died in my apartment and nobody would have known because I have no family here. And they were like, apologizing and everything like that. So I'm sitting in the hospital bed thinking about all this stuff. Like my life literally, could have been taken and everything like that. And I'm calling my family, like, I'm gonna say, like, I know they love me, they just don't get me. My some people are like, oh, get well soon, like you got a cold. Right. like you got a cold or whatever, like, that type of stuff or whatever. And I'm just sitting here like, this is a weird feeling. Like, I have no support system. I'm gonna be honest, I have no support system. At first it used to be like pastors and stuff like that I had back home, but then I realized they low-key like me, was trying, like, it was weird stuff. And I'm like,
beauty has probably played a lot in people trying to do some trickery.
and I'm just like, I don't have anybody. And long story short, I was healing and I sat on the couch and I said, I'm gonna choose me.
Ooh,
she
made a decision. What did you just say?
I'm gonna choose me. I'm gonna choose me or whatever. And I was like, everything has to, like, I got to get out of this. I said, it has to be some type of spiritual attack on my character and who God is making me. And I was like, I'm coming out of this. All these generational curses, I'm breaking it. Yes. And I said, so the first thing is I need to talk to somebody. I need to get,
you have to get some outside
help. And
so
I started calling around and things like that, and finally found somebody. And first person, she really didn't get me, because when you talk about God and your stuff or whatever, they try to, oh, you hear a voice. What voice is that?
No wonder you crazy.
So I'm like, God, and they'll switch it. So you heard of what? No, I said God. Right. I said God, yeah. And so I'm like, yeah, she's not it or whatever. And I ended up with someone that was spiritual too, and we started talking, and we started getting to my root cause. And my root cause was my family. Oh. I was the yes person. Yeah. I was the one. They would make me watch their kids. They would make, like, I was like the mom. Yes. Yeah, because in a way, when they was poking me, like right. They were older, so I couldn't really do anything or whatever. So I'm like,
and one day you said, I choose.
Yeah, and so my therapist said, why don't you set your phone to a timer to where nobody could get through and you have your peace or whatever. And she said, only answer the phone when you feel like talking.
Wow.
Because I have a sister that does, she likes to, an older sister, she likes to dig at me because she used to be a video girl, and it's almost like I took
now
over.
Yeah.
So now, and then when I used to try to talk to her, it would go from being nice to she would flip on me.
Maybe she's like a little jealous of what.
Well, she was, and then she got diagnosed with schizophrenia. So that whatever that voice was didn't like me either. And she was like, "You think you better? You think that type of stuff?" And one thing my therapist said, pay attention to how you feel when you're in environments and when you're around certain people. And so I started paying attention, and I'm like, whenever I talk to this person, I get angry. So I'm gonna have to eliminate I'm gonna have to eliminate it over the
yeah.
And I do that in every setting. If I start feeling myself getting anxious or not feeling comfortable, I'm gonna leave.
So, what was the first thing that you did for your future of where you are right now? How did you get into directing films? Because you got one coming out.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
All in your head. Y'all check it out.
Okay, and just give us a little bit more information about it because we want to. I want you guys to follow these young people. Mm-hmm. Mellow about old as me, but we don't call him young right now. He old as dirt like me. But we reinvented ourselves. We reinvented ourselves, okay? I'm 32, okay? So, this film, how did you get these two people? Who's in your film?
Lex Heggs. I think I'm saying her last name right. Mm-hmm. Is it Heggs? I think it's Heggs. Yeah. And our director, A.R. Crown. He plays in it as well.
And so when you put this together, did you automatically think, okay, I want Lex and Crown to be?
I honestly didn't know them yet.
Oh wow!
These were actually poems, and then God told me to turn it into short film.
And a short film, guys. The short film dropped on Tuesday, right? Mm-hmm. It's out there. You can go on my page. I'm sure she has it pinned on her page. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine? One day in a dark room, killing yourself. So now look how beautiful and vibrant she is, and she got a film, and she going places. Y'all better keep up with her. Mello, where was the turning point for you? What did you when you started to go to school after them? Please get ready to kick your butt and throw you in jail. When you walked out of that jail, did you find that harmony at that point?
Yeah. So. The unique thing was that these were the nicest police I ever met in my life.
Being a Crip member, being a Crip, and he talk all the police nice.
And he said, the sergeant, he says, I saw you sitting there. Said I thought you was just waiting to talk to me or something. I ain't know. I didn't know what you were doing. I was like, no. Yeah, I told him, and he said, all right. So they didn't even put me in the car or nothing. They put me in the ambulance.
Oh, they sent you to the crazy house.
Yeah, they took the handcuffs off.
Let's go find out about this.
And I stayed there for a week.
Okay.
And
did you learn some different things that you learned about yourself?
Absolutely.
So, because we don't run out of time, and I'm trying to get you. What happened when you walked out of there and that point said, because hers was like, I choose me. What was your
same? I pretty much cut everybody off that I knew was a detriment to my well-being. Mm-hmm. It's about me now. I mean, I can't do everything for everybody, and still maintain what I'm trying to do in my life. You know, so I still extend my my services way farther than they should be. But
because you got to learn how to say no sometimes.
Boundaries.
Yeah. Some boundaries. Absolutely.
Yeah. But other than that, you know. I don't talk to nobody that doesn't mean me good. Yeah, I ain't got no time for it.
You gotta come on. You know, when I was in that era, in that 14 years ago, let me tell y'all something. They put me in detox, and normally detox is like 3 days. Mm-hmm. Okay, I had been taking medication. Pills for so long from my surgery accident, and the devil allowed me to find a doctor just like me. He tried to kill us because he was like, you bring me patients, we'll get more pills. So I was like still thinking in my head, I'm taking them as prescribed, but I'm taking other folks' stuff as prescribed to them.
Yeah.
So I was up to probably 70 pills a day. And they could not take me off of all of my medication. It took 14 days. Because every time they try to take me out, my heart stopped. My heart would go putter because my body was so used to that many pills. Yeah. But my mind, it took a minute. The bulb, let me tell y'all when the bulb went off. When I knew, God, I was back. And this make bring tears to my eyes. I got baptized. And I invited my daughters. And when I came up out of that water, I seen both of my daughters. And I looked dead at them. And it was an instant. When I got my clothes on and we went out to dinner, because prior to that, my kids didn't trust nothing that I said. Mm-hmm. When I got baptized, it was like, Mommy, let's do this. Okay, Mommy, we'll see you tomorrow. Because normally they was like, okay, Mommy, we probably won't even hear from you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But they knew they would hear from me tomorrow. They knew that I was going to be back. And it's like a seamless look. At 1 minute, you can feel like you about ready to take it away. Mm-hmm. Okay, God, here I am. I'm getting ready to do it. Mm-hmm. To, okay, God, I got another chance in life. Mm-hmm. Tell me, what would you tell somebody that was in the position that we all were in to give them another 24 hours? What would you tell
them? I would say don't forfeit your destiny. Because you don't know what could happen beyond the next 24 hours. The thing about it is the enemy can't make you do anything. He can suggest it. That's the thing. He can't make you do anything. He wants you in agreement. The minute you agree with the thought that he's giving you, then he got you. He can say, oh, you ain't enough. Don't nobody love you, all this type of stuff. But the minute you like, yeah, they don't. I should do it. All this stuff or whatever. You got the agreement. So now he's going to put more in your head. But the minute you cast down them thoughts, it's the word of God. cast down them thoughts and take them captive and resist the devil. He's going to flee. The thing about it is you have to watch what you're feeding your spirit. When I was in that position, I was feeding my spirit darkness because I wanted to numb it. I wanted to be prepared. I bought dark out closets. What do you call it? Curtains. Yes.
Blackout curtains.
Yeah, blackout curtains, so everything could be dark all day. I started watching. It was a series on HBO where they would show crime, like people like with their head shot off, like it was death. I was inviting death into my house. But I also want to say, pay attention to the people around you. Because spirits jump. And the thing that I did find out that God revealed to me, that suicidal spirit didn't come from me. It came from that man that I was messing with. Yes. It came from that man. He wanted to be so close to me because he was running from those demons. Mm-hmm. He used to say that he liked my light, that I was so peaceful and all this type of stuff. Long story short, it came out that he was suicidal from his mother. So she tried to pass him on to me. And so when I got rid of him, that spirit stayed. Wow. So, because I've never thought about suicide until I met him. Yeah.
So tell them where they can find you.
On IG, it is L Divine. It's ELLE_DINE. And then you can also find me on Facebook, and that's LA and Anderson.
And what's the name of your company? Is that L Divine?
It's Divinely Gifted Productions.
Divinely Gifted was in there somewhere. Okay, Mela, what would you tell a young man that is out there that think life is over? What would you tell?
So, self-love. Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody gonna love you like yourself. Mm-hmm. As long as you maintain some sort of level of self-love, you can. It's okay to feel like okay, I may have failed at this, or I may have not done this so well. It's okay to have those thoughts, because you get up, you try it again. Whatever it is. You're gonna fall sometimes, but the main thing is if you fall 3 times, you get up 4.
Yes,
Mhm.
you better
You
say
know?
it.
Mhm.
And like I said, self-love, man. Love yourself, because I know that people that told me they love me,
Mhm.
it was a whole nother thing. Um, but that's it.
Where can we find you at?
So y'all can hit me at Facebook, on Facebook at Mello. That's MELLO, no W, MELLO dot Pville Records. That's PVILLERECORDS. And on Instagram at uh Model Perry D, MODELPERRYD.
First of all, I want to thank you all for sharing some of you, because this is not easy. And I want to say out there to the ones that may be strung out on drugs, because that in that area of your life, it's easy to say life is over and take your life. Call somebody. It does not have to end like that. In my closing thoughts, as we wrap up this profound conversation, I want to take a moment to express immense gratitude to L.A. Anderson and Mello for their courage in sharing their stories. Your willingness to be vulnerable and open about your struggles with mental health, not only to underscore the importance of dialogue around these issues, but also serve as a beacon of hope for those who may feel lost. Life with all its challenges and uncertainties, can often feel overwhelming. Yet, you both have demonstrated that resilience is possible. Your journeys from contemplating suicide to thriving as filmmakers and music developers are powerful reminders of the strength of the human spirit. Today, we celebrate you. We celebrate you and the lives you are touching through art. The world is undeniable a better place with you in it. For anyone listening to who may be struggling, remember that you are not alone. Help is available, and there is hope for a brighter tomorrow. If someone you know is in crisis, please reach out for support. You can contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. They provide free and confidential support 24/7. You can call that number anytime. Let's continue to support one another, advocate for mental health awareness, and ensure that everyone knows they are valued and loved. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, your story matters. And our next show is going to be, we got Tisa Green, which is a comedian, actress, model. We have Anthony Jones, which is a model. And then at the end, we have Akella Plore. She is running for Marietta City Council, Ward 2. Stay tuned, everybody.
Vote for it.
I love you. Vote for it. We're going to get Crown, our cameraman, to vote for it, because he lives in Marietta. So thank you guys. I love you. And till next time.
The hottest dating show on social media, hosted by the sassiest model of them all, Tanya R. Lewis. Are you 50 and single, dating or waiting to mingle? Be a guest on the Diary of Dating Over 50 with your host, Tanya R. Lewis.